look at Didar's infographic, it is visually appealing and contains appropriate design elements. However, according to UPD of alignment, the left aligned text provides more visibility, stability, and readability. I especially appreciate that the information is provided in this left aligned manner because it's easier to grasp. There is also an apparent color scheme throughout the infographic. And as we have learned, color plays an important role in the organization and meaning of elements in design according to the UPD. However, I would also suggest the following improvements for the final draft. Combining the three principles of UPD, common faith, consistency, and symmetry, I would suggest that the atom icon should be moved to the right and what is scientific method should be moved to the left. Because the icons have a common fate and should be considered together as icons. As you can see, the icons, all of these icons are on the left, and this icon, the symmetry is kind of distorted. The consistency is also broken because the mind sees the atom icon first rather than the actual title. Following this, the symmetry is also the top part you can see here is, I would suggest switching up these elements. And also, if we look at the Gutenberg diagram, it is suggested to have the title to the left corner, as this is the primary optical area, and the reading gravity starts from the atom icon rather than the title. So for the eye, and any viewer who sees it, they look at the atom icon rather than the title, and I think that the title is more important than the icon. Also, next on the alignment, although you are successful with having a left aligned text, I suggest that you ensure the icons that you use are the same size and aligned with the text on the left. As you can see here, this text it's not on the same line. And this, for example, the question mark reaches, it's a little over the line, the same as this icon as well, and these icons, and some of them don't even reach this line. So I would suggest that even though you did the alignment on this side correctly, I would suggest having the alignment horizontally for the same icons as well. And this way, this also is about the iconic representation principle of UPD, because they help to recognize, associate, and remember the information that is presented in the infographic. As you can see, I wrote down the way I interpret the different types of icons. So you can see there is an example icon, symbolic, arbitrary, and also similar icons. As your ball pointed out that some of these icons are very diverse, I suggest using one set of icons. So for example, if you start with the example icon, I suggest using it for all of them. Or for example, at the end, we have a similar icon where it says share your results with everyone, and similar icon is about the literal representation of the action. So here, if it is this person handing out a report, then here it should be also a person who is observing a phenomena, or sitting, and there's a question mark in a quotation or something like that. So I suggest that all of these icons should be of similar size and aligned, and also similar style, because as you can see, the question mark is different style than these three or the last one. So the reason why I spoke about different types of icons, because of this diversity used in the infographic. So as I said before, the UPD suggests having icons that share a common visual motif. Another principle that I would like to talk about is the proximity. The information that is provided on the left can be grouped as one. So as you can see here, everything is on the left and everything here is on the right. And we visually will group it as one here like this. The grouping that results from proximity reduces the complexity of designs and reinforces the relatedness of elements. As you can see from the arrows that I added, the proximity varies between the secondary text and the icon. I suggest arranging the text in a way that corresponds to the relatedness. So for example, this of interest could be added here and this as well. I'm not sure if this is the intended design, but because the proximity is very different for each line, it kind of distorts the visual performance of this infographic. And because there's two lines here, and then one line here, it also kind of not only distorts, but it is not consistent. Last but not least, The language seems informal because of the your possessive pronouns that is used. Even this pronoun is not consistent throughout the infographic. I would suggest keeping to one format and also to actually remove these possessive pronouns as it assumes that the reader is a scientist. So for example, here it says your question, your hypothesis, your results. This shows that the designer disregards the possibility of having readers who might just read the infographic but not use the scientific method. Therefore, I also suggest reviewing the audience for this infographic and ensuring that it matches with its intended audience and purpose as we learned from writer designer readings. Lastly, I would like to discuss the highlighting principle, as this is another principle that is quite apparent in the diagram. The main highlighting technique used in the infographic is the color, as we can see from the observation as a different color and research question different color. And the other highlighting technique used is the italics because these are consistent within each chunk of text. The lighter color is the highlighting color, as I said before, and I would suggest switching the colors of what is A and scientific method because here the visual cue is to the highlighting color of observation, research question, and here I think that the scientific method is more important. Um, so as we also learned from UPD, the lighter color would actually direct the viewer to view this as the important text. And so in summary, my main suggestion for improving this infographic is one, switch the title with the icon for intuitive reading gravity. So it's switching this to this side and the atom icon to the right, as this would also help with the consistency of keeping all the icons to this side. Or for example, if you would like to keep this like this, I mean, the what is a scientific method to the right and the atom icon to the left, I would suggest rearranging these icons to fit to the other side, as this would help with the consistency and also keep everything to the common fate of having icons to one side. Second, I would ensure that I would suggest that the icons are of the same style. Although they share the same colors, it is apparent that they're not of the same style. And third, I would change the highlighting of the title. And fourth, I would keep the secondary text consistent. So for example, here we don't have observe a phenomenon of your interest or ask a specific question about the phenomena or like about your phenomena. So here we have your in the last fourth. So if it is going to not have the possessive pronouns in the first two, then remove it in the last fourth. So this is about the content of the infographic. And the fifth suggestion I have is about the proximity. So keeping the relatedness, as we can see, this is one group of information, keeping those together. Although it is apparent that this relates to this icon, these proximities that are not consistent does not contribute to the visual performance of this infographic. So I would suggest revising and editing the proximities of these icons. Thank you very much. And that is my review of the DARS infographic.